Hey Fruit Faces, it's Claryberry here. I'm going to speak with you today about a very serious topic called depression. A lot of people I know are dealing with this, have been dealing with this, and it's one of those things that's hard to talk about because there's so many different levels of depression. I don't want to stand here and pretend to give advice to somebody with extreme, hardcore depression. The treatment for something like that is going to be different than, minor depression. So if you obviously have, a major problem with depression, please seek real help. The advice that I'm giving in this video is for more minor depression, people who, are just having mild symptoms that they think are manageable. Of course, I'm a person who is very anti-prescription drug, but in the same coin, if it's going to help save somebody's life, then I wouldn't hesitate to agree that they should be on, prescription medication. Although I think eventually it can end up, they're not completely safe either way, from what I understand. But anyway, not to make that video about this, I am just going to give you guys some tips on how to help with depression. Because, like I said, I know a lot of people out there are going through this right now, especially with the seasonal weather coming up. It's getting colder and colder, so it's easier and easier to get more and more depressed. And obviously, the reason for that is sunlight. That's, of course, one of the first things, vitamin D. People who eat salmon and consume vitamin D supplements and get 15 minutes of sun every single day, they're still going to be deficient. Even if you're focused on this, it's one of those things you really have to make a habit out of: getting good sunlight, taking vitamin D. I still take a vitamin D. It's one of the only vitamin D3s that I know of that is vegan. If you ask me below and I'll answer what it's called. It's downstairs. I don't know what it's called right now, but I definitely do take a vitamin D supplement. And I definitely notice that being in the sun or even going tanning, if all else fails, is a good way to boost my mood very, very quickly. Outside and fresh air combination is like, yes. I think there's something about the fresh air, the ions and everything. Speaking of, I'm getting a little bit hot here. How does this thing work? So I think fresh air, in itself, but all three, fresh air, exercise, and vitamin D, put those things together and you're going to be sleeping better. Your hormones are going to get regulated better. All of those things kind of piggyback on each other to bring you out of, this depression. And think of it as, this is kind of goes with my advice overall, but just try to not think about it as, okay, we're going to try to, live our life and get out of depression. Try to have a goal of getting as healthy as you can overall as something to work for. Because I think when we're working for something, we tend to be less likely to get down and to try to, be hopeless, not to try to be hopeless, but to end up being hopeless. If we have goals, if we have things we're working on, you're motivated, you're getting yourself motivated and getting out there. And, depression in itself, like one of the definitions of depression is just means lowering and pressing down, being in a downward state, in a slump, in a decline, in a standstill. Those are all kind of synonyms to depression, and that just should say a lot. I know exercise isn't an end-all, cure-all, but just moving your body is kind of, in a way, it's the antithesis of depression. And it's really hard to be depressed after a great workout. It just really is. And yes, there are people who can get, depressed and go into overworking out and have severe problems. Like I said, that's kind of a different issue. But overall, your mood's going to be improved hardcore if you just find a fun workout and stick with it. And your mood will definitely change. And I know, give you a little background on myself. I haven't had, the most rough life in the world, but I definitely have faced enough adversity to definitely, have an excuse to be depressed, at least. I was sexually assaulted at a very young age, had to deal with that growing up, had to deal with telling my family that and them being completely unsupportive and basically just not even believing me And, that caused a bunch of problems from there where, I became, a heavy drinker and became sexually active at a very young age, which of course caused major problems in my life, kind of took me down the wrong road. And, I came to a point later in life where I was being physically abused as well by a partner, who I thought was supposed to love and care for me. So in the process of all of that, like I said, I think I have, every reason to have gotten depressed. And I always would use these tips. I always knew these things. And I always would try to keep that exercise up. Of course, whenever you get stressed out, whenever you get down, it's one of the best things to focus on, to be able to focus on yourself, just put everything else aside. Don't do it for looks. Don't do it for, anything else, but just how you feel, and really focus on that internally. Exercise is one of the best things. Nutrients, I think, are another way to look at it that are overlooked. Everybody wants to talk about prescription drugs and this and that therapy, but you definitely just want to be eating high carb, vegan, healthy lifestyle. You're going to get the most nutrients in for the most bang for your buck with the least of the things that you don't want that are going to slow you down. And, like I said, vitamin D you want to get from the sun or a supplement. And vitamin B12 you definitely want to supplement with as well. But pretty much everything else you can get from a high-carb vegan diet that you need. And some other nutrients that you want to think about when you're looking into depression and other mood and anxiety disorders. Of course, omega-3 is very high on the list. You want to make sure and get, some good chia, some good flaxseed, and consume those on a regular basis, as well as like berries and eating your greens. Greens are something, when you look at depression foods, greens are one of the foods that are high up there on the list. When I read through these list of nutrients, you're gonna see greens are on the list of like tons of these foods, like magnesium, folate, iron, things like that. All really have a lot of greens, and greens do have omega-3s too. People are very confused about that this day and age, but so you want to be eating a lot of greens to get all of these different nutrients. Beans are another nutrient or another food that seems to pop up a lot. Amino acids, different folate, things like that. You want to be watching your iron, watching your zinc, your iodine, even have some seaweed, eat a wide variety of plant foods, and even Brazil nuts for selenium. Selenium is one of the things that I notice that I get low on in my own vegan diet. So definitely I would say focus on these things. Just focus on a holistic, healthy lifestyle, supporting yourself as much as possible. Find a support group, make YouTube videos. It's really therapeutic to be accountable, to let people know, find your tribe and create a community and just freely express yourself. Sometimes the comments are going to be good, sometimes maybe not so good, but you don't necessarily have to read them either. So, hang in there. Let me know if there's anything else I can do to help. Find a good support system is really crucial. If you're hanging around assholes, of course you're going to be depressed. So creating, a lifestyle where we have people that are like-minded, that even if you can't be with them, being with them would be ideal. And I think that's what we're all trying to create in our little vegan, areas where we don't have any other vegan people. We're trying to create these vegan communities and this healthy lifestyle. And until that happens, we're all lone rangers. It's hard to be vegan. So definitely reach out to other vegans if you're feeling this way, and just hang in there. Life is hard, but it's definitely worth it to keep on keeping on. So you have my wishes and blessings and hopes. Eat well, take good care of yourself, and you will be rewarded, even if it doesn't feel like it right away. So love you guys, and don't forget to eat your fruit.